So good morning or good night, depending on where you are, and welcome to another anniversary review of the Shield on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and tonight I'm joined again by Senorita Sabrosura, and we're here to talk about the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd. So, Senorita, how are you?
Good. How are you? Everything
I'm
good?
good. I'm
Nice.
good. I see that you are old-fashioned with Pink Floyd. The
Yes.
shirt,
The
the earrings that you made,
earrings,
and yeah, no, you
in,
are.
of course.
And of course, we have to. My vinyl is here. So a vinyl. Oh my God, I can't see. You can see because I have the. So yeah, I have the.
There
I
you
think
go.
everyone should own this record on vinyl. Like
Yes.
actually, I've heard that this is one of the records that people recommend that you use to test out the sound of your record player.
Yeah, I read that, and I also read it's one of the most sold albums ever, along with Thriller from Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston.
And I think Nevermind probably is close to those ones as well. But yeah, it's just like timeless classics. And so on March 1st of 2023, this album turns 50 years old. So we're here to celebrate this landmark of an album. So obviously, when this came out, neither Senorita nor I was born.
No.
I was going to be born 5 years later, and Senorita Sabrosura like a few years later after that. But yeah, actually,
Did you remember the first time you listened it, or how did you came to this album?
yeah, I think I came into this Pink Floyd in the 90s.
Okay.
I had a friend in high school who really enjoyed them, but actually not. I think the first album I heard from Pink Floyd is the one that has like the two faces, like the something
Okay.
bell or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think my uncle had this Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, and he had the Doors, and he introduced me to that type of old music, like or music from the 70s. So yeah, I vaguely remember when I first listened to this. How about yourself?
Well, I know I listened to a few songs when I was like in high school, but to listen to the whole album, I think just when I start college, like later. I used to like listen to more heavy music when I was in like middle school and high school, and then I did it backwards. And then when I went to college, like I have a couple friends, so I started listening to more like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Beatles, The Doors. So yeah,
Yeah,
this is an album that you immediately fell in love, like.
yeah, I remember. I think I started listening more to the album because I had this girlfriend that used to be into rock and stuff, and she liked to listen to this album, just
Okay.
to mellow out, and maybe
Yeah.
some drugs were involved. I can't say, but yeah, it's an album, and it's an album that side A. It's a great album to have on vinyl because side A and side B, it's so good. It's like I don't know. It's a flawless record to me. It's a record
Yeah.
that has no bad tracks, and to me, it's more than a record. This is an album that you need to experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I a few months ago got to see Roger Waters in Miami, and he played a lot of the songs from this album. So in part, I feel like I got to see some of Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Well, half of Pink Floyd.
Yeah, half of Pink Floyd, and I know that you sent me like that very interesting list of like 10 things that you didn't know about this album. So maybe yeah, we could discuss that and say uh, other things that we to celebrate this landmark.
Hmm. Uh,
Yeah, if you can remember, I know that something that I read because I didn't read them all, but I find interesting that I think that Roger Waters here like wrote most of the album. That this is a very Roger Waters album, and I think that's why he plays it a lot.
Yes. What happened? They just lost Sid Barrett. Sid Barrett was like the frontman of the band, and he wrote most of the lyrics. So Sid Barrett mental health was declining, so he left the band. And then they have to do like, okay, the band is over, or we can continue. And that's when Roger Waters like took charge, and he wrote most of the songs, like all the lyrics, and he was like taking charge of the band.
Yeah, and obviously it's like it's a concept album,
Mhm.
and something that I really like about this album is like every track flows into the other. Like
Yes.
sometimes it feels like it's like one long 43-minute
Yeah,
track.
that was intentional. Like they did that on purpose.
Yeah, you can tell because the way the album flows and everything. And I know there was a controversy because of the rainbow. What was the controversy about?
Oh, because now that it's gonna be the 50th anniversary, the official page of Pink Floyd changed their profile picture, and they put the 50 with the rainbow. And someone shared, "Oh, look at Pink Floyd trying to be woke with the rainbow." Like, what?
It's part of the album cover.
It's part of the album cover. Like, they're not trying to be woke or anything.
No, it's the light
And
side.
for me, this is super iconic. Like this with the Rolling Stone, the tongue, like these are very memorable, very
Yeah.
iconic. Like the album is so good, but the art is also good. And I read today that they didn't purpose the rainbow, like it continues in the back and goes back to the white.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing record. And
Yeah,
to
but they're
think,
not trying to be woke.
come
Like
on, it was 1973. They were probably high. There's,
yeah,
I
and
think,
to be honest, I really like those early Pink Floyd albums with Sid Barrett and everything. But you have to admire how, like, okay, we don't have our band leader, we don't have the lyricists, how they reinvent themselves and
yeah,
work
it's
with yeah, and work with these teams like money, greed, war.
time.
Time.
Oh my, don't get sick of me, señorita.
No.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's an album that it's flawless, and I think more people still get into Pink Floyd, especially because of this album. It's one of the like in the 70s. I think was it in the 70s when the concept album was created?
I'm not sure, but yeah.
Because I know Pink Floyd did concept albums with this one and The Wall, and I think Animals as well. But other bands started doing like concept albums more in the 70s, like Jethro Tulls and those type of bands. I don't know if Led Zeppelin had a concept album. I don't think so. But yeah, it was something that in the 70s I think started to be created. And then in the 80s, I remember concept albums. Now it's something that happens a lot. There's a lot of concept albums, but in that
Yes.
respect, Pink Floyd were pioneers.
Yeah. I think there must be other concept albums before the 70s, but I think this was one of the first for Pink Floyd.
So for you, like, what are your go-to songs from this album?
Uh, well, I really like Breathe. That's like the first song, because the first song is an intro that there's no lyrics or anything. Speak to me. That's just like a little eerie intro. I really like Breathe. Uh, all you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be. Like, wow. It sounds like a little depressing, like a warning, but I like that song. Um, I love Time. Like that song, uh, it reminds you like how time can slip by. Like you don't realize it until it's too late.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it's very deep about you, and I love how it starts with that clock
Yes.
and the tone, that classic like guitar with the bass. That's so good. I think it's awesome how it starts. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, all the songs are really good. Like this is an album that I listen from start to finish. Not like, no, let me put this song only. No, this is an album to hear completely. No skips, no anything.
No, and to me, even Money has been overplayed. Oh my God, they played it in so many movies, but it's a song that has an odd time signature. I've read, so
Yes.
it's kind of weird the time signature that they use, but it's like it's really catchy, and it's all about money, greed. So very ahead of their time because with what they're saying, because yeah, a lot of people die because of money. So very interesting. This was recorded in the Abbey Road Studios in London and
Yes.
engineered by Alan Parsons. When I saw Roger Waters, he played in sequence. He played Us and Them, Brain Damage, and Eclipse, all in sequence,
Oh, nice.
which makes sense because that could be like a whole like song because they Us and Them goes into Brain Damage and then into Eclipse, and it's like such a beautiful and epic ending to that album. I really
Yeah.
love Us and Them because I find the lyrics are very beautiful.
Yes, and that's another of my favorite songs. Because it could mean they're talking about war, but it
Mhm.
could be like internal war that you have with yourself or with the world.
Yeah, and when Roger Waters played that song in Miami, there was a lot of footage of war and then faces of different people. I'm telling you, it was such a great concert. Like, and when they play, and yeah, I like that.
And you mentioned Brain Damage.
Yeah,
For me, that's one of my favorite songs from the whole collection of Pink Floyd. And I know that song, it's dedicated to Sid Barrett, who was having mental issues. But I read that Roger Waters says like he identifies with Sid Barrett, and that's why he says, "I'll see you on the dark side of the moon," like related to him. Like I'll catch you there. Like I'm gonna be
yeah, yeah. That's a
eventually
great
there.
song.
Mm-hmm.
And I love also the female vocals that add the layerings in this song. Uh, I also got to see in Puerto Rico a few years ago, the Brit Floyd, which is like a
Yeah,
Pink Floyd tribute. I got to see them as well. It was cool, but I still take Roger Waters over them
of course.
because he's the creator, one of the creators of the band. So yeah, yeah, I think picking a favorite song here, it's like the whole album is amazing. It's hard. I love everything, and I agree with you. This is an album that you should play in sequence, and if
Yes.
you have vinyl, do it on vinyl because I'm telling you, the sound it's so crisp. Like you should
Or at least with good headphones.
good headphones, some great substances to to get more
Well,
in.
like I used to listen to Pink Floyd a lot, but like don't pay too much attention to the lyrics until and I think this is the way a lot of people is presented this album. A friend told me like, "Oh, what are you doing Friday night? Oh, I have nothing to do. Oh, you want to come home and watch movies, like have a couple drinks, order food, smoke." Okay, nice. And then when I got to her house, I asked her, what are we gonna watch? And she told me, oh, we're gonna watch The Wizard of Oz, but in mute, listening to Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon.
That's a trip.
Yeah. So I think we ate and then like, okay, let's smoke, and she think the movie's so perfect and it works. Like people just can't explain how, but it works like perfect with the movie scenes and everything. Like you had to give it a play when the second roar of the lion, when the movie's about to start.
Yeah, I don't love The Wizard of Oz, but maybe
I I
Pink
I I,
Floyd
I
and
don't like I watched it once, but with the Pink Floyd, like wow.
so kids parental advisory, like Senorita Sabrosura and me, we are not recommending that you listen to this album on substances. But hey, I think right now, I don't know in Chicago, but here in Puerto Rico, it smells of marijuana everywhere. I'm
Well,
telling you.
and in Puerto Rico, it's only legal like medicinal.
Yeah, so apparently everyone's on that medicine. every, everyone except me. Maybe I should get that medicine license and listen to some Dark Side of the Moon and just chill. And this is an album that you should listen like with like low lights, maybe like very psychedelic, and just listen to it and yeah. And I think if you read the lyrics while you're listening to it, that would help the experience.
Yes.
So yeah, so 50 years later, has it held up? What?
Of course. And it's gonna keep holding up. Like, this album is so good, so iconic. Like,
Yeah, I
it's gonna
agree.
stand the test of time.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best albums ever made, in my opinion. Like, it's flawless. The lyrics are great. The music is great. Everything, the packaging, the experience. Like, if you've never listened to Dark Side of the Moon, you give yourself a chance. Even if you're not a fan of rock music, just listen to it once, because
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's an experience. It's not an album. It's a musical
Well,
experience.
it's so good that it stayed 14 years in the Billboard charts.
And it's
14
still selling
years.
today. Uh, it's still selling today. It's amazing and just a flawless, timeless record that it's a essential album. like if
Yeah.
like if you don't, if you're a rock fan, a classic rock fan, and you don't own this album, shame on you. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
And
everyone needs to.
if you're a vinyl enthusiast like us, you have to have this album.
Yeah, I'm gonna set up my vinyl pretty soon, and I'll listen to this, and I'm going to listen to this album soon, probably when no children are here, so I can just like chill. Yeah,
It has the lyrics.
yeah, it has the lyrics inside, and I think I got mine. I think I got mine on Target. Yeah, shame on me. I got it on Target, but yeah, it's just an amazing record. Just to this day, it's a record that everyone should. Yeah, I love that with the pyramids. Like,
Yeah.
didn't they play a show there?
I'm sorry?
Did they ever play a show in Egypt when they played Dark Side of the Moon?
They played it in Pompeii. That's the most famous show. Live
Yeah,
at Pompeii.
I could just imagine like listening to that in a place like that and just being
Yeah.
so.
Now they're gonna release a box set for the 50th anniversary. It comes in March 26th, something like that, 23rd, 26th.
How much does it cost?
I think it's like 265 to 300. It's like a big box with DVDs, the vinyl, but it also has an additional vinyl when they played the whole album at the Wembley Stadium.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And then it has like a big book with hundreds of photos from that tour, and it also have posters, DVD, CD, vinyl, everything.
Everything but an 8-track.
Of course.
Some kid is now Googling, what the fuck is an 8-track?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my grandparents had 8-tracks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. So people, what do you think of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, 50 years later? Is it an essential classic album for you? What are your favorite tracks? What are your earliest memories of listening to this? Comment, let us know. And if you like the videos that we're putting out, do not forget to subscribe to Senorita Sabrosura. As you can see, she's very fashionable. Show your earrings again.
Hold on.
Yeah, the Dark Side of the Moon. Where can people? Where can they buy the stuff that you're?
Instagram at sabrosura.art.
Yeah. So please buy for Senorita Sabrosura. We need to make something pertaining to the Shield dude. I
Yeah.
may change my logo soon because sometimes I'm not chilling in a couch, so maybe it should just be called the Shield dude. The Shield dude does
I think
reviews.
there's another Shield dude, so I like
Yes.
the dude on the couch. So
Yeah, because someone told me that, yeah. But yeah, again, people, we're wandering off, but yeah, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Have you heard it? If you haven't, what are you waiting for? And do not forget to give us a like and share this page with people so we can keep growing and doing things. And obviously, when the wall has an anniversary, I'm guessing we'll do one for the wall as well.
yes.
Yes. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield on a Couch.
Señorita Sabrosura.
And we'll see you next time for another anniversary album review. Thank you, and listen to Pink Floyd.